Chidimma Orangwa. Of course, this morning we are starting the show with the stories that are trending on our national dailies and also ABS website. But right now we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we introduce you to our guests who are already seated with us this morning in the studio. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, you're welcome back. As you can see, our guests are already here in the studio this morning. We have Sir Jerry Obodo and Samuel Ololo. They are our reviewers this morning. Both of them are public affairs analysts. Glad to have you on the show this morning.
Thanks for having us, Nigerians and the Anambra. Let's roll together.
All right, Sam.
Chidimma, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, the Anambra. It is good to have us in another edition of Good Morning, the Anambra. And I wish us a happy new week.
All right. Quickly, let's start with the stories that are trending on our website this morning. And the very first story we have is Anambra State Government signs agreement with SMEDAN on SMEs in Anambra. Enugu Aguleri celebrates a Reworld Festival. Saludori assures Anambra youth of brighter prospects. Okay, these are the stories trending on our website this morning. Let's start with you, Sir Jerry. You've seen what we have, so which will you want to delve into this morning?
Yeah, let me kick off with this Medan and Anambra State signing of MOU agreement. It's a welcome development. It's a way of empowering more of our youths and some other business enterprises that needed some funding. So that's, is a counterpart kind of thing. I learned that the government of Anambra State will contribute 500 million, then the SMEDAN people will contribute 500 million, giving us a total of 1 billion.
1 billion.
Yeah. So it's a very, very good development. I'm sure that the bodies concerned must have supervised the feasibility studies of those applying for the fund, so that it will be put to proper use, not like in those old days, where some people are given loan. They will use it to go and marry more wives and do some festivities, only to, when the payback time reaches, they fall into problem. So I hope those that applied, they've looked at their feasibility studies and know those that are genuine, so that they can now disburse the fund to them to enable them go into other manufacturing or industries or whatever, so that they can also employ some other people in the business. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that submission. Sam, let's look at the governor reassuring Anambra youths of brighter prospects.
For me, this is my constituency. And I am particularly interested and happy to hear this, regardless of the fact that youths have always gotten countless promises. But I know very well that the current administration under Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo has promised to make Anambra State a livable and prosperous state. And when you look at the intricacies of what he has mapped out, we agree that the youths are supposed to play a very, very critical role. So it's interesting to learn that he has promised brighter prospect for the youths. It's a welcome development. Why we are saying that we must draw the attention of the government sorry, we must draw the attention of the government to people I would want to call government program jobbers. And by government program jobbers is, I could remember when the government of the federal government under Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, His Excellency, did what's the name of some of those their programs.
Okay.
You see those youths, they applied. Every program of the government, they always apply. And if you check through, you see that they're now so good that they get the money and you divert it to other things. And then that is what we are trying to call the attention of the government to. What the Smedan agreement that the state government has signed is still one of those programs of the government. And so I remember now, Shopee program, and then other programs. This Smedan agreement is one of those programs too. And we are calling on whatever ministries of the state that are in charge of it to this time around wash their eyes clearly and make sure that the youths that get it are those youths who are really committed to development. Because let us remember that we are talking about high inflation rate. Let us remember we are talking about hunger. Let us remember we are talking about unemployment. So this is an opportunity for the government to really identify those youths. And beyond that, nurture them. And
but
try
you know
to
we
see
are talking
them
about a large number of youths. Don't you think that probably maybe if they are learning skill or something, or skills, that they should be maybe given the necessary equipment they need to embark on, not giving them capital?
Okay, so it is still another strategy that government use, and it has proven to work. However, there is an organization I know that did an intervention. Because of the principles of if you give cash, it is susceptible to be abused or misplaced. So they gave fertilizer, and the community member that they gave the fertilizer still ended up selling it to get back cash. So we are looking at the value system of the country. However, it is very, very important that the government look at that area, buying more of equipment than giving cash to the skill to the youths, because it goes a long way. And then beyond that, one thing that we also lack in Nigeria is monitoring and evaluation mechanism. We need to really imbibe on that. The youths that are going to get this, maybe this is also advising the government. The government should ensure that they sign an MOU with the youth. It should just go beyond we have given you 100,000 or 500,000, and then they make media abracadabra of it. They should become more serious. Sign an MOU with these youths. We are going to monitor you for 5 years. If you are found wanting, we have the power to recall back whatever we have given to you. You will see you becoming more serious.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. Quickly, let's go over to the first paper we have under review this morning, and that's the Daily Sun newspaper. The banner headline there: Labour adamant on strike over Ajero. NEC meets tomorrow to take decision. And then we have flees the Imo government, urges presidency to intervene. He's LP member Onochie. And then up there we can see Nigerians groan over rising cost of cooking gas orders. Naiti reported Tinubu sued over failure to probe missing $15 billion, 200 billion naira oil revenues. Mammoth crowd as Diri ends Yenegoa campaign, says state capital development priority. NDLEA seizes 14.4 million pills of opioid in Lagos Street as traffickers excrete 86 wraps of heroin. Rex appointment, LP threatened legal action. Akwa Ibom APC disowns a new INEC rec, Umoring. And then no going back on enactment of a whistleblower law, declares federal government as CSO said to hold policy roundtable on protection law. NAF strike terrorist hideouts in northeast and northwest. Okay, of course, here are the stories trending on the Daily Sun this morning. I know you would like to talk about the strike. I mean, Labour being adamant on strike over Ajero.
This labor wahala with the government is one too many. It's very unfortunate that we keep going back and forth with little or no success. What triggers of problems is lack of commitment, especially on the part of the government. When an agreement is reached, it's supposed to be kept and not to be breached. If that is breached, that brings out a problem. So I don't see end to strikes, since the government on their part are not coming clean or straight. He talk of ASU, the agreement are not kept. He talk of the labor itself, NLC, the same problem. He talk of doctors, resident doctors, the same thing. He talk of which one will you call? So government insensitivity and lack of sincerity is what causes all this problem. So I don't see end to strike. I can't really, wait for strike, because I know a strike will continue to come. Since, it's unfortunate too that in the midst of groaning a problem, like you read in the paper, Nigerians are groaning with the, we are not a fuel hike, now gas hike, and every other hikes. Our political leaders are wallowing in plenty. We harped on reduction of cost of governance. They've given it deaf ear. The jumbo pays, they've given it deaf ear. Even dashing money to holiday for their leave or whatever, little break, 2 million, everything. They are not considering the masses, the people, the grassroots. They only think of themselves. Look at the labor. What are they asking? What are they asking that the federal government cannot grant? Even some states cannot grant. So, I can't see end to strikes. Thank you.
Sam?
And so, for me, it's really unfortunate that while some persons are working towards making Nigeria better, our supposed leaders have contrary view around how they want to make Nigeria better. Because I don't want to believe that everybody does not really want Nigeria to be good. But maybe it's the approach. And why I'm saying this is because of the recent appointments, the recent electoral commissioners made by the president. And for crying out loud, we should understand that at a point in time, politics must be distinguished or separated from governance. And when it comes to issue of governance, it should not be taken with kid's glove. In Nigeria, many times we talk about the citizens embracing voter apathy. It is because they are not daft. They know what is possible and what is not possible. Personally, I'm querying why the president should begin to lean towards partisan politics in the appointments he's making. The former president, Muhammad Buhari, also tried that, and it was met with stench rebuttal when he tried to appoint Onochie and then the likes. And this time around, you see in Akwa Ibom, people are against it. Of course, we are calling on Labour Party, PDP, and other parties to really come out strongly against this. Because if it flies, of course, even before election begins, we know what the outcome would be. Because it is those who are at at the other end that have the power to influence what really happens. And when the citizens begin to complain that election in Nigeria is not free and fair, they begin to ask you that BVAS was used. They tell you that IREV was used. But it goes beyond BVAS, it goes beyond IREV. We also want to see the integrity of those who are representing the institution really coming out strong. And as a country, we must find out that there is a great connection between our election outcome, governance, and the standard of life of the citizens. Because the citizens must also have trust to support the government. And if it is not there, that is why you see cost of gas going up and the citizens are complaining. Nobody wants to know. And that is why you see violence going on everywhere. Nobody cares. And that is why you see even this fight between the labor and the government. Because if, of course, it's supposed to be a contractual agreement, right? Where you are there playing your own role, we trust what you are doing, and we are where we are playing our own roles, you trust what we are doing. When there are issues, we come to a round table and we discuss it out. Everywhere is at peace. But if the government continues to thwart the interest of the citizens by making undue appointments, a time would come when what they think they are being smart on would even come and swallow them. And then that is finally taking me over to the whistleblowers policy that the National Assembly is talking about. It is important, really, and I know part of the content of the whistleblower is talking about critically protection of the whistleblowers, and then other integrity content where, as many times, those who even blow the whistle complain that they don't get what they should get. So the policy roundtable discussion that CSOs should be having with government, we should be looking at sustainable conversation where those who blow whistle must be protected.
That's very important.
Must be protected. And whistleblower has a percentage of what should come to them.
Right.
I mean, it is part of it as incentive. So why they are having their roundtable policy discussion, they should strengthen out these and then get a clear guideline that citizens must follow.
Well, if you ask me, I think protection is very much important. Before we start talking about the financial aspect of it.
Windfall.
Okay, let's quickly go over to the next paper, and that's the Daily Times newspaper. This morning, the front page of Daily Times, we have ILO sanction. Okay, attack on NLC president. ILO sanctions against federal government, Imo government looming. Well, that's the banner headline, the front page of the Daily Times this morning. And then we have riders under it, expulsion an option. Fallout from negative global PR may affect presidential drive for foreign investors. Employment generation. NLC alleges Uzodinma has sent police to harass Ajero's community. Governor react. Okay, and down there we can see a picture of Fidelis Anosike, founder of Folio Media Group, and the wife, actress Rita Dominic, and so many people in the front page of the Daily Times this morning. Another story there, court upholds Niger royal father's sack for blowing of trumpets during official outings. Federal government threatens to revoke licenses of dormant modular refinery operators. Obasanjo foreign PM profile solutions to Africa's economic challenges. Tinubu targets Arab petrol dollars to boost Nigeria's flagging economy. And then forestall violence, killings in Kogi, Imo, Bayelsa, CLO implores Tinubu. Federal government to offset defunct Nigeria Airways ex-workers severance benefits. Okay, these are the much we can take on the front page of the Daily Times newspaper this morning. But let's take the other paper, The Punch, and then we, discuss that together. The Punch newspaper is next. Off-season governor polls, 220 police patrol vehicles deployed in Imo, Kogi, Bayelsa. IG to complete deployment Friday to redeploy Imo CP before polls. Ebetoko bans VIP escort, orders personnel to curb vote buying and violence. Niger, Benue, Kano marketers hike fuel, blame transport cost. Cooking gas scarcity hits Lagos, Castina, and others. Collecting pension unlawful, Falana tells Akpabio others. Commanders, others killed as military bombards terrorists. Details of 70 recovered corpses, okay, with police in Abia. And then latex students sue marking day for relocating agric faculty. Trafficker excretes 86 heroin rap, NDLA seizes 14.4 million opioids, and Israel gives condition for ceasefire. Death hit 11,000. Okay, so
Yeah, let me talk on the two papers you read.
yeah,
Concern about the off-season elections in Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa. So the problem we have in our electoral system is that the institutions that the players are working for, I mean the INEC staffs, most times they are compromised. One is that it's only the president of the country that appoints those that are working there. Is a problem because the president has a party, and most times that comes into play by the people that he puts there. And once those who who pays takes the tune, so that's a problem. I think our our legislature should tinker with the electoral law to see if they can isolate the president from making all those appointments, and see a way of generating those that occupy the place as to be seen to be neutral. That is one. Two, the umpire itself being very steadfast in implementing the electoral law. You can see what played out in the presidential election. The IREV was said to be used during the election. Somewhere along the line, they came up with glitches. Why that glitches did not happen in the National Assembly. So you see, that's why I said the umpire is a problem, they cause problem. So we should learn to be very free and fair in whatever we are doing. Let the people determine who will govern them, not somebody somewhere manipulating the system. This Kogi Imo elections, if all things are equal, there shouldn't be any need for killings, violence, tension. If the electoral body, umpire, goes out that day with the electoral law, asking the people to come out and vote freely, their votes counted, transmitted, everybody sees it, and the winner emerges and he is declared. There's no room for violence or killings. It's just when somebody tries to manipulate or instigate or to rewrite the result that you see violence. So I am pleading with the electoral body, the police, and all other security agencies to give a level playing ground for all the parties let the people decide, not somebody somewhere telling you this person will go or not go. And finally, another idea that the National Assembly can quickly look into is the issue of swearing in somebody before the court cases is a very big problem. I would suggest that immediately after the election and somebody has a matter against the election, they should go to court and finish the case there before the election. If it is in the case of governorship, the State House of Assembly Speaker can act. If it is in the federal, the Senate President can act. That's how it is. Because once somebody is sworn in, he can use whatever means to stay in power.
Okay, thank you. We have so many things to talk about. Sam, I don't know which one you want to delve into, but I also want us to talk about this, what Falana is telling Akpabio, collecting pension or lawful. Falana tells Akpabio and others.
Okay, let me address that first and then go into the topic that I really am bothered about. From 1999, the crop of leaders, political leaders, Nigeria have produced were unknown, technically. Over time, as a result of the Fourth Republic has made them very, very massively wealthy against whatever state that they had. It is in the Fourth Republic that many of them started using this mentality of the state to enrich themselves. And some of them, from 1999, were ministers, some of them were SAs, and then they grew through the rank and became governors. And we now have a system in Nigeria where they now more like recycle themselves. You see a minister, then now a governor. Now, after 8 years serving as a governor, they now want to transcend into the Senate where they retire. And in all these positions, unfortunately, because of how they have framed the Constitution to enrich themselves and their practices, you see a governor who continues to perpetually take, the benefits of leaving office. As a governor, they are taking it. Now that they are being paid salary as a senator. And these people, conscience demands or morality demands that since you are earning salary as a senator, first of all, and then remember that even as a Senate president, he also has higher pay away from some other former governors who are senators in the current assembly. Now the question is, morality demands that you let go all what you are earning, especially now that the country is crying that they can barely feed the citizens, especially now that the country is even borrowing money. And that is why when we complain that Nigeria needs to be reorganized, because when we say restructured, people get agitated. Nigeria needs to be reorganized in the sense that how can we go borrow money? We use it to fund the pension of many governors. Or ex-governors. And not just that you give them just the money. There are provisions to get them cars. After 4 years, you change the cars. There are provisions to get them another house. So these things are so humongous. And I think for Falana to tell Akpabio, you are benefiting, you are still having these benefits as a former governor that you are, yet you are a Senate president and you are still eating salary.
Collecting collectibles.
Please, nobody should tell you to let go some of these things. Is it not still, are you making this whole wealth for your generation yet to come? So it's a question of morality and also a question of legality. Falana being a son, and a sound one at that, is telling that it is illegal. So beyond that word that it is illegal. We want to see the citizens. We want to see our lawyers really challenge
exactly.
this.
Because if you are waiting them to let go, they might
will not
let go at the end of the day.
Unfortunately, the crop of leaders we have in the country will not let go because they want to go to Dubai in the morning for their breakfast, come back around 11, go to another place in the afternoon. So they just want that luxurious life because they are getting that life from the taxpayers' money, not their money. If that it was their hard-earned money, I tell you, this would not be happening. And this, because of this level of affluence that they live on the pockets of both the poor and other citizens, that is why they are willing to kill. We are talking about electoral violence because they know that once you go in there, I mean, it is juicy for you. So they are willing to kill to have that kind of life. They are willing to circumvent justice. They are willing to break the law. And it is unfortunate that the judiciary and then the police would see this kind of people and decide to align with them. It is not fair for well-meaning Nigerians. And let me still go down back to what I was talking about. The governor, Imo State situation with Labour. It's unfortunate. And we are in a country where the governors and then our political leaders have taken themselves to be emperors. Nobody talks to them. If you talk to them, they can, just by the snap of their finger, deal with you. And unfortunately, whatever they do to you, nothing happens. They go scot-free. So I am happy that ILO, International Labour Organization, is really trying to come up with their own hammer on this. I want to see how it plays out because enough of the rascality of our leaders who thinks they can do whatever they want and get away with it. Because if the citizens, when the citizens get to that breaking point and react, only God will save Nigeria. And we pray it doesn't get to that.
We pray. All right, let's quickly see the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. Endgame for FX speculators as Naira begins recovery. That's the banner headline there. Why Nigeria can't be aviation hub for West Africa by experts bemoan country's loss of billions of dollars to Ghana. NDDC Senate vows to ensure IOCs pay contributions. Okay, Dangote Pan-African operations boost Nigeria FS earnings by $667.977 million. Federal government targets 2 Mbpd before end of December. Serap sues Tinubu over missing $15 billion, 200 billion naira oil revenues. Brutalization of Algeria, most barbaric action against a labor leader. This is coming from NASU. FCT natives threatens to sue federal government over violation of federal character in appointments. 22 persons feared dead in bandit rivalry clashes in Benue. Tinubu said to investor at Saudi Africa Summit. And then the next paper is the Nation newspaper. Why central bank must bring down inflation by Sanusi, give agri priority. Cardoso, we are changing Apex Bank's policy direction. And then Naira Femopo will continue, APCON predicts. Okay, bank assets base rose to 125 trillion naira in third quarter. President heads for Saudi with investment options, and then Dangote repatriated the 686 million naira from African operators. Jay's Bank grew profit by 74% in third quarter. 13 years after, final severance benefit for airways workers. Okay, these and many more are what we are seeing this morning on the front page of this pages rather of the Daily Independent and the Nation newspaper. Sir Jerry.
Yeah, let me take on Tinubu said to woo investors at Saudi Africa Summit. Yeah, you know, if you are trying to woo investors to your country or to your side, there must be certain things they will be looking out for. to see if they can come into your country and invest. So, if they are not there, you're wasting your time.
So are you saying that those things are not here in Nigeria?
They are not here. I'm coming to that.
Okay.
One is adequate security. The investor is looking at the safety of his staffs and the equipment on ground. That is why you see most of the industries and manufacturers relocating to neighboring countries like Ghana. Two is, do you have a stable power supply energy? You can see that that of Nigeria is epileptic. It comes in today, tomorrow you won't see it. The cost of, powering industry with the diesel or fuel is very, very astronomical. So the investor is looking at that. Thirdly, the investor is looking at the stability of the currency, your currency. How does it compare to other strong currencies? And you can see how Naira is playing with the dollar. Do you have, the fourth one is, do you have good infrastructure? Like, do you have rail? Do you have good roads? Because he need to move his products from one point to another, either through the rail or through roads. If you put in his vehicles on the road, within some months they are gone because of bad roads. There's no rail system. So these things are what makes an investor to think of coming to your country, to your side. So what I advise the president is to come home, look inwards, put these things in place. You see the foreign direct investment coming
by themselves. You don't even need to woo them. Okay, when you have the proper infrastructure in place. Okay, quickly, Sam, let's also look at this, the banner headline on the front page of the Delhi Independent, where they're saying that there's an end game for FX speculators as Naira begins recovery. And then in the front page of the Nation, we can also see where APCON is saying that the firm up of Naira will continue. Do you also agree with that?
Well, the thing is, for me, the question is why, in the first place, did we as a country even get to the level where, as a history of our country, this is the time Nigeria has had the lowest of its currency. I'm a citizen of Nigeria, and I think the progress of the country also affects me positively. So I would not be a vanguard of negative or false news, really. It's good that our foreign exchange has really gained significantly. But the question is, what actually happened? Because if you look on board, there is nothing significant that the government has done new. If not, maybe one of those players somewhere who now pumped in dollar into the economy to really try to see how it will stabilize. Because when it comes to policy, it was not just last week that the government gave this policy. A lot of persons have told us that we should give the government time. Now with time, the currency, the Naira would stabilize.
Yes.
So it is good that it is going to make appreciable gain. Looking at it as an analyst, we would say, to what extent would it appreciate?
Yeah.
And where will it appreciate and then begin to depreciate?
Again.
Would we get to that level? We don't hope for it to get to that level because virtually everything, the cost of service and goods in Nigeria, you and I know that it goes up on a daily basis. Once you fail to get any commodity at this point in time, the next moment, the price is out of it. You might not even get that current amount. So that the FS is beginning to gain appreciable measure. It's a good one really for us. However, but we want to really see our government finding a way to reduce the dollarization of Nigeria. We want to see our government finding a way to improve productivity. Last time when I was at this station, I talked about the CBN lifting goods that were placed on ban by the former administration. They lifted even to toothpick. They mentioned toothpick as part of what they lifted. So if, to the extent that anybody who is interested can import toothpick, the question becomes, what happens to the promising youths who have been in the country, who, by the way, are educated, who, by the way, are energetic to really, are even productive, but they have been struggling with different environment, hostile environment by the policies of the government, maybe unavailability of fund, maybe a lot of other hostile environment that has been stifling them. So for us, I'm thinking that for us to really maintain the gain that the FS, Naira, is making, it is to really pump in support to the economy, especially looking at the youths, especially looking at small and medium enterprises, to revive them so that Nigeria would become more of an, we can begin to export more rather than importing, because it is at when we always want to import virtually everything we consume, every commodity, that our FS will continue to go high.
All right. Quickly, we all have 3 more papers to go. That's the Guardian, Daily Trust, and Nigerian Tribune. So let's just pick out the important ones there, and then quickly round off. The first paper we are going to go talk about now is the Guardian newspaper. Corruption, defiance to law cost investors 1 trillion naira in property loss. We can see that on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. That's the details of that story. And then we have Adelabo crash landing in Ibadan airport raises fresh concern on illegal charter operators. Atiku may be expelled from PDP, says former vice president's aide. IGP affirms readiness for weekend off-cycle Gubapool. Coalition laments Akeredolu's absence, impeachment crisis in Ondo. And then refineries, I'll hold NMPCL accountable for completion date, says Luke Muberi. Serap sues Tinubu over alleged missing $15 billion, 200 billion naira all funds. And then quickly, let's see what we have in the front page of the Daily Trust. Devaluation pushes Naira's debt to 89.2 trillion naira as debt stock raised by 2.6 trillion naira in 5 months. Each Nigerian owing 418 naira, 779. And, 418,779, yes. Yeah. Okay, and the other one, what government should do, expert. Governor Mai Mala Buni building a strong post-insurgency in Yobe State, okay? We can see that there. And then finally, Nigerian Tribune. CBN remains focused on price stability. Cardoso, why Naira regains strength at FX market. APCON. Kogi Imo Bayelsa elections. IGP orders redeployment of Imo CP. Begins distribution of new vehicles. Security personnel. Sanwo-Olu commissions Red Line Oyingbo overpass. We can see the picture there. It appeared on the front pages of these and the other paper, that's the Guardian, Nigerian Tribune, and Daily Trust. Okay, federal government reopens Ibadan Airport. NAF airstrikes hit terrorist hideouts in northeast and northwest. Augusto and Co. assigns A rating to Odua Investment Company with a stable outlook. And finally, Forex, Dangote repatriates $687.9 million from Pan-African operations. Okay, these are the much you can take on the front pages of The Guardian, Daily Trust, and Nigerian Tribune. And I keep wondering the person that is always dividing what we are owing, the debts we are owing to Nigerians, every day telling us how much we are owing as an individual or as a citizen of this country. Anyway, having said that, let's quickly look at what we have on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning, where we are saying that corruption, defiance to the laws have cost investors 1 trillion naira in property loss. I know you made mention of the environment not being conducive for investors to thrive. So quickly comment on this.
It's part of the it's part of the problem that investors are looking at. I give you an example. Sometime I think it was during Buhari's regime that anyway, let me not mention the company so that it won't be advertised. Is a electrical or electronic giant in the world. They were trying to come and do feasibility studies, what it can take to power Nigeria and that. So they came in and do all the submissions and paperwork and all that. Do you know that they were frustrated out by the corrupt officials of They demanded humongous amount of money as upfront before they can the company can come in. So they left. That's part of the corruption. Then the one that the Guardian are talking about is still the corrupt officials of the government agencies. If an investor comes in that he wants to do a housing estate, for instance, and a corrupt official who knows that the land is already allocated to another company goes ahead to allocate it, it will be a loss to the company. So these are the part of the problem we are having in the country. So many corrupt in the high places, agencies, ministries, not only the politicians, also the collaboration between both. So that is part of the unfriendly nature of a country, and it scares away the investors into the country.
Okay.
So, and finally, let me talk on Sanwo-Olu. Whatever is good, no matter who is doing it or whatever party that is doing it. I commend him because I think he's a state governor that has been embarking on the rail system single-handedly. And some of them are speed rail system, and it enables. When people travel abroad, see very fine rail system and all that, they enjoy it and come back home, do nothing. This African mentality that we must be backward is rubbish. So I commend Sanwo-Olu for taking those giant strides. It will facilitate the movement of goods and services over there. And I would like the southeastern governors. I've been shouting on this before. They should borrow a leave, not looking at the federal government to do everything. Let them do rail system also.
All right, Sam, quickly, because of want of time, we need to go. So quickly, just...
Okay, for me, let me pick the area that piques my interest on Governor Mai Mala Buni, who is building stronger post-insurgency measures in Yobe. It's a good one, really. And we are talking about, there is an initiative that we are promoting when we talk about the community resilience. And looking at community resilience is looking at the ability of communities to bounce back. Unfortunately, Nigerians have been faced with multiple issues. We are being tagged the poverty headquarters of the world. When it comes to multidimensional index, we have the highest of it, and by multidimensional we mean in poverty, in wealth you are nowhere, in food you are nowhere, in health you are nowhere. Any angle you want to look at it, you are nowhere. So for him at Yobe to begin to talk about post-insurgency measures, it's a good one. And we're also looking at that to be adopted by every other state government. We need to bounce back strong. When you look at our mental health, Nigeria's mental health is out of it. So looking at post-insurgency measures, looking at post-COVID measures, looking at even
Well, not just state, federal government also.
yeah, well,
All right.
this is we're talking to government generally.
Holistic,
We want Nigerians to really bounce back and not to be present but absent-minded. We
All
want
right.
to have our health, our mental health in check.
Okay. On that note, we want to say a very big thank you to both of you, Sejeri Yobodo and Samuel Olulu, for joining us on Press Review this morning. Thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you for having us.
Well, that's it on Press Review, and thank you so much. You that is watching us from wherever you are this morning, thank you so much for being part of the show. We are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we still have other things for you this morning, so stay with us.